What's up, Leafs Nation? Zack Phillips here with you, presented by Bet365. Instant reaction to William Nylander not being at practice this morning ahead of their Game 1 matchup for their first-round series against the Boston Bruins. Look, we saw a tweet here this morning that came out from Luke Fox, our friend at Luke Fox Jukebox on Twitter, with just the tweet that just said, William Nylander absent from Maple Leafs practice. Perfect. That's what you want to see ahead of Game 1. Your recently signed $11.5 million winger who finishes with 98 points on the season, puts up 40 goals, is one of your premier top-notch players who's going to be able to get it done on the third line, driving his own line against the Boston Bruins, creating nightmare hell for the Bruins, no matter how they decide to deploy their defensive pairings, no matter how they decide to deploy their offensive lineups. This guy is not on the ice at practice. So that just sends Leafs fans into a frenzy right away. Then Luke Fox following it up, as well as Mark Masters, with Nylander is a possibility for Game 1. Keefe is under instruction from Tree Living to not make injury progress public during playoffs. We're hearing that Nylander was there. He just wasn't on the ice. No matter what is going on with William Nylander, I've got a couple of thoughts. So first, this feels really, really weird to have a guy, especially of this caliber, take a maintenance day one day ahead of the playoffs. I mean, he did play all 82 games this season, so it's not like it's like shocking that this could be the case. You play Tuesday, you play Wednesday, but you also had Thursday to recoup, and now it's Friday, and then you're going to play on Saturday. It feels weird that he didn't go here today. Then to come out after the fact and say he's a possibility, the whole thing seems strange. My concerns with this would be, one, Sheldon Keefe, he could be playing mind games. And if he's doing this right now to play mind games that William Nylander is not going to play, I can't begin to get inside of his head and even to start to determine what kind of mind games could we be playing here to deter or concern or worry the Boston Bruins? You'd think it would be the other way, that some guy that you've had out of your lineup, you're sitting there like, he might play, he might not play. Like if you're the Dallas Stars and you're sitting there, you're going, oh my God, Thomas Hertl's coming back, Mark Stone's coming back, they got Jack Eichel, these guys are going to be loaded. You're just wondering what kind of form they're going to be in because you don't really know. It's kind of a mystery. This is the other way. The Bruins could be sitting there being like, we don't change how we play. The culture, the mindset of the organization is the same no matter what's going on. And if that guy's out, then that guy's out. We're going to just dominate these guys all the way through. I don't see how when it comes to a team like the Bruins, this is going to help you too much when it comes to mind games, if that's what's going on. So I effectively immediately ruled that one out. I go to the next thing, and I start thinking about, did he get injured on Wednesday night? If he did get injured on Wednesday night, it probably was not that serious, which would alleviate some concern because you would have seen him leave the ice. You would have seen significant minute deductions or reductions from what he was playing. You probably would have seen it on his face. You would have seen some type of reaction. We just never did. So I don't think it's like that serious. And to that point, I would also say I think it's kind of hard to just avoid it altogether because of the fact that when you've got that much roster limitation, that much cap limitation, that late into the season, how are you going to get around that? You had to play everybody. We heard Keefe talk about it. You're pretty limited in what you can and can't do at that point in the season, so everybody plays, hence why you get basically all your big boys in there other than a couple of the defensemen that you take out. So, fair enough. If he got hurt that game, he got hurt that game. You could get hurt crossing the street. You could get hurt waking up in the morning and stubbing your toe. It could happen. The bigger concern would be, and we've talked about it with Nick, we've talked about it with Rosie, we see Nick tweeting about it all the time, and it's fair, is William Nylander basically took the last month and a half off. Now we're going to go into the playoffs, and I'm hearing William Nylander is possible for Game 1. Possible. Your $11.5 million superstar winger is possible for Game 1 after just playing 82 games. If the guy was injured for the last month and a half, what the hell were we doing here putting him out there? These are the things running through my head as I'm breaking this down. I'd like to believe that the Leafs medical staff, coaching, management is smart enough to not do that, but it's also like, are we just resting the guy? I mean, I'm going to assume a couple of things, and you shouldn't make assumptions. It makes an ass out of you and me, and mostly me because I'm the one making the assumptions, but it makes me just think that this is just a maintenance day. We're just going to give William Nylander some time. You don't have to go out on the ice. This is the one guy on this team where I never really worry about with anything. Keefe calls him out. Don't really care. Has a shitty game. Don't really care. Media roasts him. Don't really care. Because William Nylander himself, he doesn't really care. This is a guy who waited halfway into the season to get a contract and just was like, whatever. We get it done when we get it done. Like he figures it out, man. He's not worried about this kind of stuff. So as far as that's concerned, I'm not overly worried about William Nylander. But like game 1 tomorrow, and we got this guy sitting in the press box with the possibility, if Keefe is playing chess here, man, I'm excited to find out what the end game plan is, because this is, what a way to start this one. William Nylander possible to go tomorrow. Cal Yarncroke himself saying, we don't even know what's going on with him. I guess we'll have to wait and see tomorrow. Hopefully he can play. What a nightmare if William Nylander can't play for game 1. This team that traditionally has not shown up for game 1s of the playoff series. Ladies and gentlemen, strap up. Playoffs are around the corner. We'll be breaking it down on After Dark. We'll be breaking it down in game previews. We'll be breaking it down on Leafs Morning Take. And ahead of game 1, you could join Nick and Rosie for their own game preview lead-in show. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to be listening to anything other than what's right here on the Leafs Nation Network. So make sure to tune in. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and drop a comment below. What is your level of concern about William Nylander's availability going into game 1? Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys following game 1.
Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long-form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Roseau. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.